Well, hey folks, Real Honesty with John Wrestling, and this is another Angry Rant series, Wrestling's Most Tasteless. This will be a few episodes. I mean, I might end up, making 10 episodes out of this, honestly. They'll go 15 to 20 minutes. Yes, it's similar to times of wrestling to piss me off, except that's just a lot of things where even though I could understand why some of that stuff was done, it still irritated me. This is the stuff that was tasteless. That was not even bad taste done in good taste. It was just bad taste for the sake of bad taste. Left bad taste in everybody's mouth. Torpedoed the careers, or at least, temporarily derailed a lot of careers. Or just made the company look like shit. Whatever company it was. And I will make this just about one company per episode. If you can't tell by my shirt, try to guess who I'm going to talk about. Now, I do want to say that Impact has done a lot of good shit this year. Yes, there are a couple things I'm going to talk about from this year that they've done that were just, that they actually allowed on their programming that was really stupid. But they have done a lot of good shit this year. And don't get me wrong, WWE's done plenty of shit, and I will get to them in due time. It'll be like a ratio of like 10 to 2 as far as like episodes. WWE will be dominating the market with tasteless shit they've done. But let's get cracking on with it. By the way, do leave in the comments if you can think of anything. And it doesn't just have to be Impact Wrestling related. It can be. It could be WWE, WCW. It could be world class. It could be any company. You let me know, and I will let you know if I'll at least write it down. But anyway, and then I'll even credit you. I'll credit your Twitter handle or your YouTube page, whatever you'd like. So, first thing from Impact, it's the whole thing where a little boy going by the name of Richie. It was an implied hit and run of a child on a recent episode of Impact. I want to say this much. I know that there's the LAX versus the OGs feud that's been going on. Conan's been involved in it, of course. Kind of makes sense considering LAX and Conan were in lockstep and actually were a pretty damn good trio. Even in the condition that Conan was at the time. I get that everybody seemed to be having a good time with this and that everybody signed off on it and the kids seem to be having a blast, and that's great. I'm not saying that anybody involved in this is necessarily bad, but the reason that it was so goddamn tasteless is if you need to do something like this to advance your angle, I don't care what company you are, it's fucking stupid. And it's fucking stupid because this is an implied hit and run of a child. I'm not saying that this shit doesn't happen in real life, but wrestling is supposed to take you out of real life and be an escape and this kind of stuff. Should it be presented as real? Sure. Should we have less cartoony bullshit? Absolutely. There is a place for comedy, place for cartoony stuff. Mostly, I just want wrestling to be real. This isn't wrestling. This isn't anything that is going to advance any kind of plot in a meaningful way. If the people that you have involved in this angle can't make it work in the ring and on promos and stuff like that, and you gotta do shit like this, you just look second rate and you look dumb. And Impact can't afford to look dumb right now. They can't. They're still in a bit of a lull. I mean, they're doing good shit and they're getting their ratings back up and everything. But this kind of stuff just makes them look dumb. It makes whoever greenlit it look dumb. It almost makes everybody involved look dumb, even though everybody seemed to be having a blast with it. And that's fine, even if the kid was having a blast with it. The kid got to be on TV, involved in something big. Good, but I'm sorry, this was goddamn bullshit. I watched this, and I had kept up enough on the feud where, okay, what are they going to do with this feud? They've done pretty good with the feud so far. Where are they going to... Oh, an implied hit and run of it. I'm looking at my phone. Implied hit and run of a child. That's bullshit. That's pretty ridiculous. What the fuck? Like, am I going to love everything in wrestling? Fuck no. It doesn't matter what company it is. This wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't needed. It didn't help anybody. It didn't do anything for anybody. Tell me who this benefited. Who does fucking benefit? I mean, yeah, I'm talking about it on here. Okay, great. If people loved it, that's fine. I don't see how you could. This does not make Impact look good. It doesn't make the management look good. Doesn't make anybody look good. There's a fine line between entertainment and tasteless. And I'm sorry, for wrestling, this is pretty damn tasteless. Now, it's up there. It ain't the worst shit that I've seen in any wrestling company. Might not even be top 10, but it's pretty damn bad because this was really, really garbage television. When they've been banging out some pretty damn good matches and revamping their roster and everything, and they do shit like this, and I think, this is why I just can't watch Impact regularly. Well, that, and I can't stand Josh Matthews, the guy literally makes me want to pull my ears out because he's so fucking bad at what he does. But this was just unnecessary. And, sorry, an implied hit and run, regardless of whether it's an adult or a kid. People can say, oh, well, they did it with Austin and WWE. Yeah, that was during the Attitude Era. Times change. You get to where you want to present realism, maybe not present a kid, report or apparently being run over by a car. Obviously he wasn't, and he was fine, but just the implication of it, it just wasn't good and didn't serve a purpose beyond making the company look stupid. And the company doesn't need to look stupid. Look good, not look like trash like this. Now we move on to another thing they did. The Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan bat incident thing. You know, I had talked about this in another rant, and I think I might have even talked about it on a few videos. But if you haven't seen the video, you got Eddie holding a chair, and Sami Callihan is trying to hit the chair. It's like trying to make it look good. And he ends up hitting, just crushing Eddie in the face. Now, Eddie's okay. I'm sure that Sami didn't mean to. I mean, he seems like a careless, clueless fuck, but he doesn't seem like he intentionally wants to go try to hurt somebody. Especially Eddie Edwards, one of the best workers that Impact's ever had, one of the best workers Ring of Honor's ever had. Damn good worker. This was just one of those, I remember watching it. I remember seeing the video. The video got leaked before the taping, or, before the taping aired. So, I mean, it was right after the taping happened. I remember seeing this and just thinking, that is some of the dumbest bullshit I've ever seen. Who the fuck greenlit that? Fire the agent. Fire the people that actually thought that, that greenlit that. I mean, and hopefully they covered Eddie Edwards' medical bills. I mean, I don't know if they did or not. That would be another rant for another day. But just watching this, I'm like, there's no way that could have worked beyond, okay, it bounces off the chair and stuff like that. The chair was seated, in a seated position on Eddie Edwards' chest. If the chair had been laying down and Sami had swung the bat and tried to crack ribs or something like that, okay, that would have made sense. But I'm just watching this like, what the fuck was the goddamn end game here? It was stupid. And it made the company look stupid. Everybody that, was involved in that. I mean, thankfully, Eddie Edwards was okay and is all right and is able to recover, even if they started doing weird, shitty storylines with him soon after. Thankfully, he recovered because that really worried me. He did not look good at all. I saw, pics released of, him all bandaged up and stuff like that. He's lucky to be alive. Sami's lucky he didn't have criminal charges pressed against him. Whether he meant to or not, I don't think he would have intentionally gone for a guy's head. But just, there was no good way how this was going to turn out. It made everybody look goddamn stupid. I mean, especially Sami, but then again, Callihan could look stupid, no matter what. And I'm sorry, I may just be a wrestling fan. In fact, that's all I am. Even I can look at that and be like, there is no fucking way that was ever going to be a good idea. I don't care who you are, and you don't need to be doing this combat zone, deathmatch, blood and guts bullshit. You don't need to. And I'm sorry, if you guys like deathmatch stuff, that's fine. I'm not saying that you guys are bullshit fans or anything because you like that. I think it's bullshit. That doesn't mean you guys have to, because there are people I interact with on Facebook and on Twitter that like deathmatch matches, and that's fine. But it didn't need to be, that kind of stuff did not need to be on Impact. Trying to be different is one thing. Doing that and potentially ending the career or life of one of your, best wrestlers that you've had on your entire roster ever. And yeah, I'm ranking Eddie Edwards pretty damn high. Mike's skills may not be the best, but he is a damn fan-fucking-tastic worker. I have very little respect for Sami Callihan because I don't think the guy really is any good at all. Credit to him, he's at least been a heel on Twitter, and he's at least done what he can to make the most out of it. But this was one of those where it's like, fucking Christ, what could have happened? The worst could have possibly happened. And it's because he didn't fucking know what he was doing. And whatever agent greenlit that, I don't care who it is, should have been fired. Because that was so fucking stupid. And now we move on to the James Storm, Mickie James train incident thing. Now, this one's going to be a little brief because I have nothing against James Storm. Big fan of his, big fan of Mickie James. James Storm, one of the best tag team wrestlers there ever was. They got a raw deal in the last few years of Impact. Wish that NXT had made a better offer to him so he could have been there. Because I think it would have been nice. I know he's doing other stuff on the Indies. I think he's even on the NWA TV or NWA programs, and that's good. I like James Storm. I know he's doing the whole Revolution thing and the stable that they went absolutely nowhere with, and they should have, because he was doing some good shit. But he was trying to get at Magnus and this kind of stuff, and he had Mickie, and it seemed like they had come to an agreement, and they're walking. It's like the security cam footage that somehow they obtained that's kind of grainy and kind of ridiculous, but they're walking down this whole thing and they're talking, and then Storm, I forget exactly what was said, but he pushes Mickie first in front of this, it's in front of this stop train, or like off this whole platform thing, and then you hear this train horn and the thing cuts out. Now, that's not as bad as the first two things, but just the idea that you got James Storm being evil is one thing, but what? What was the point of that? That was how they were going to take Mickie James's character off TV. I don't think she made an appearance after that on Impact TV. If she did, I would have been amazed, because I think she ended up having a kid soon after. Or her and Magnus had a kid before. I forget the exact timeline. I know that they have a kid together, and that's great. And they seem like a great couple. But this was just another one of those where it's like, what in the world? Why did you need to do that? Being different isn't the worst thing in the world. Being different, actually, being a viable alternative, being TV-14, and this kind of shit is a good idea for Impact. This was not good TV. This was just like head-scratchingly like, okay, that's fucking dumb. You're making your guys, your talent, you're making your guys seem like they're abusing women. Good job there. You can't be doing that stuff. Like, and I know this is a number of years ago. This is when I believe they were either still on Spike. I think they were still on Spike. It was Spike or Destination America. I think it was Spike. But this was just so rotten and just really it turned my stomach where I'm just like, they're not making James Storm seem like he's a good kind of heel. Just like, I'm just going to kill this woman for no reason. That's not wrestling. That's kind of garbage. And now we move on to the final one. This is really back when TNA went to TNA like only TNA could. It's back in 2012. And you know what I'm going to fucking talk about? Because they had AJ Styles and Dixie Carter involved in one of the worst actresses ever, or at least one of the worst acting jobs ever, Claire Lynch. Oh, Claire Lynch. One of the worst things ever. I don't care what company. I don't fucking care. There is no way that anybody could have thought this was a good idea. Now, originally, hearing an interview, AJ Styles had an idea, and the original idea for the Claire Lynch angle, I don't think it was a ton better, but was a little bit better, because it would have at least made him a better heel. Something like that. Or whatever the end game was. Anything would have been better than what we got here. Because first, they implied the whole thing with Dixie and AJ sleeping together. And this kind of stuff. And they were mean in hotels and this kind of stuff. Okay, they probably would have been actually better off going with that angle. Even though it was pretty rotten. And we really didn't... No one wanted to see Dixie on TV except Dixie herself. And maybe her father in the... Bob Carter, because he was the one pretty much funding the goddamn company. Until he decided to stop doing that. That was smart. Because Dixie didn't know how to manage money. It's fucking rotten. It was ridiculous. And it hurting so many talents. But anyway, they had this whole thing where, okay, AJ sleeping with the boss. AJ sleeping with the boss. The only good thing that came out of this, you kind of got pseudo-evil AJ. That was alright. Dark AJ. Kind of like what they were going with Sting and the Crow gimmick. It wasn't all like... It wasn't that good, but it was still good. But Bad Influence. Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. They were the best part of this. But you got this thing where it's like finally revealed that they brought this girl out, and her name was Claire Lynch, and she was a drug addict that they were trying to help. And I remember watching this. I believe it was the last segment of the show. I remember watching this, and the crowd interest, mind you, was like, okay, once they brought her out, the crowd was like head scratch. And then as shit went on, the crowd was like, I swear, I don't know if the crowd fell asleep. I don't know if people started walking out instead. I don't know what it was, but it's like you could hear a pin drop. Because she was crying about like how she was addicted and this kind of stuff and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And it was horrible. And Dixie and AJ, even AJ's like just thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? I have been their golden boy. I have been one of their, pretty much their chosen one since 2002 when I became the first ever X Division champion. And here I am doing this bullshit. Like whoever came up with the idea, like AJ's idea wasn't actually all that bad. But if this was a variation of his idea, if he signed off on it, oh God, this had to have been Dixie Carter. It had to have been Dixie or Russo. In fact, if Russo was still writing for them, I'm actually pretty certain it was Russo. Because only somebody, that has such a complete disdain and ineptness toward the wrestling business would actually write something like this. This was absolutely rotten. The whole thing, she cuts the promo and it's a crying thing. And it makes no sense. It's not wrestling. It's not even soap opera acting. It's actually worse. And then they turn it to the whole thing where Claire is working with bad influence and tries to frame AJ like drugged him and tried to get herself pregnant with, his kid. Gross. Date rape. Why? Why would you? That's another reason why it's tasteless. What the fuck? That was ridiculous. There's a lot that was muddled in this whole thing. And then brought out this fake baby and this kind of stuff. Because she was supposed to be pregnant with his kid. And then she didn't want to go through the whole goddamn angle. Again, Daniels and Kazarian were actually pretty much the best thing about this. But she wanted to go through the angle. So instead of showing up for this paternity test thing, you had this one lady who said, you are not the father, going Maury style and everything. And Styles is happy. And then they go with the whole evil ways Styles soon after. I think it was right after Bound for Glory 2012 when he lost to Daniels or something like that. Or soon after when he lost to Daniels. It was shit. It wasn't even like, okay, this is a train wreck and a half, I have to watch it. This wasn't even like, okay, that was a shit angle, maybe there's a payoff. There was no way to get a good payoff with this. Daniels was soon gone from the company. I think Kazarian was also. I think they were gone. They were gone really soon. I think they were back in Ring of Honor soon after this. Or in Ring of Honor soon after this. It was just... And AJ, was the evil one. It's kind of just bullshit. And just absolute crap. It just honestly was. And it was completely tasteless because it hit every single trope of tasteless. It had the whole thing of implied drugging, the faking a pregnancy, bad acting, bad acting might not be considered tasteless, but just everything encapsulating this angle made everybody else just feel like idiots. And that's really a big reason as to why I decided to mention just this stuff about Impact Wrestling. But let me just say in closing, in case any Impact Wrestling fans are still watching this, I actually, if anything, from 04 to 09, thought Impact Wrestling TV and pay-per-views were routinely better than WWE. And even in 2010, 2013, some of them were. 2013 started to have some cracks. But the whole point is, from 04 to 09, I thought they were doing some really good shit. They're doing some good shit now. I wanted to point out these four things in the entire 16-year plus existence of this company. Now, yeah, there are probably some other tasteless things that I can't think of, so please leave those in the comments. And let me know what you thought. And I apologize for my voice fading. But anyway, like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Mifflin, and I will see you soon.